for this really prepared statement. Hello, hello. Love it, I love it, I love it. My name is Lucas. I just wanted to know here who does not speak Dutch. Can I see hands? Perfect. They promised me an international crowd and they are here. Welcome. Also to the Dutch people, hallo. My name is Lucas. Oh, let's see if this works. It's on. And there we go. Technique.
Here, over here. You have to point over here.
Heb je hem aangezet?
Ja, duh. I put it on again. Yes. I don't know what's happening, guys. I'm pushing my buttons. Yes? And I'm doing this now? Okay, there we go. Okay, so I will add a few moments on my time now. Okay. Welcome, hello, my name is Lucas. I'm the director of Company New Heroes and Bio-Based Creations. I'm also a TV host for the Dutch people, cultural programs about art for the Dutch television. I'm an art, actually I'm many different things. So every time I meet my friend, yes, this is me. And sometimes I go back to West Flanders. So I'm from West Flanders, this is Belgium, and then the West, and then the Flemish side, West Flanders. It's a region where they discovered electricity a few years ago, and no emotions. I don't know if you know, in Enschede, you're very open about your emotions. I know, this is a region everybody is just talking about their feelings. Where I'm from, the main rule was shut up and work, right? So it's like Rihanna and Britney at the same time, shut up and work, right? So every time I go back, they ask me, what is it that you do, Lucas? With this image of like an artist probably just wakes up at 12 and then works till 4 and then gets money from the government. And I say what I do is I'm a professionally creative person. I create and somebody else pays me to be creative. This is my dream job. You know, when I was 12 I said I want to be a creator, because in Italy they have the word creatore, which means that you're professionally creative. This is who I am. Okay, I am here because they asked me to talk about the world, and I have some good news. We are in crisis. Yes, or actually crises. I used all the PowerPoint things that there still are, because nobody's respecting PowerPoint anymore. So I'll just do it again. Whoops, there we go. Crisis, right? I mean, we have a climate crisis, let's be honest. We have an economic crisis, for some of you, for some don't. Some of you have relationship crises, let's be honest. Don't talk about it now. But a lot of crises, right? And this is making people scared, which is true, I mean, which is correct. If you see all the research that has been done, the coming years will be the inequality is going to grow, and not just on a financial basis, but also accessibility. Those who have access to technology or to new innovation, and those who don't. So you can be rich and live in a big villa. If you don't have access, you're just alone and cold there, right? So there's going to be a huge gap between those who have access and those who don't. But this you know, using intelligent crowd. What is also happening is that we get a growing insecurity. And this, I think, doesn't get enough attention. The insecurity between what is right and what is wrong. What should we do? What is good to do now? We don't know, right? I know that my uncle from West Flanders, right, the guy without emotions, he bought a Tesla S. It's a 90,000 euro car. And he came to me and said, Lucas, I'm doing good for the world. I bought a Tesla. I said, that's not doing good, it's just showing off that you have a lot of money to buy a fancy car. He said, but it's electric. I said, yes, so what? You know, it's still a car, right? It's still 90,000 euros on a car. I mean, you can buy an electric car for 40,000 and give 50,000 to a good purpose. Then you're doing good, right? Now you're just being greedy, and because you have the reserve knop, you know, that you have this car, you can go super fast. That's the only thing why he bought it, right? But he's ethically good. Stupid. For those who have a Tesla, shame on you. Okay. So, not the fact that you have the car, the fact that you pretend to be good, right? If you have a Tesla, just shut up about it and drive it, right? Those who are saying I'm doing good for the world are either arrogant or super naive. So, right or wrong, this is very intense, because what you get is that everybody's in their own bubble. And people saying, why is there so much trouble between left and right and poor and young and old and so on? Everybody's in a bubble because, and this is a thing we don't talk about enough, we are raised, especially the generation under 40, where are you, under 40? Yes? Good. And to the other ones, hello. The young young generation is being brought up by this sense. My mother told me, Lucas, when I was 16, and she knows my name, so it's a good start. Lucas, you can be whatever you want to be, as long as you're happy. You were there, I know, sister. Okay. No, but it's true. This is what your parents tell you. And then you're there thinking like, what is happy? You know? Damn you, parents. You can be whatever you want as long as you're happy. So the moment I'm not happy, I failed. You know? So the idea that success, you can create your success. Because if you stutter, you can do a course. If you're down, you take a pill. You know? So you can create your success. So if you are not successful, you're a loser and it's your own fault. So your failure is also your own responsibility. This is very interesting. The moment that success is your responsibility, failure is also your own responsibility. And this is fucked up. Sorry for the word up. Fucked up. Right? Because that means that we are alone. That we have to do everything we can. That means that we have to know what is good and right. We have to decide for ourselves. We have to do all the right steps and hire all the right people. And then we are super successful. If not, we are losers. And 99% of the people are losers. They're like a 6 out of 10, you know? Right? Me also. I don't care. I'm from West Flanders. This is already everything, you know? Going to Enschede is the highlight of my year, probably. So, this is very important. And in the coming years, it will be more and more and more. The idea of mental pressure, the idea of burnout, suicide is going to go up and up and up because we have no idea what is right or what is wrong, and we don't have a public debate about it. Okay, so people get afraid, right? My question now is, how can people become happy again? Thank you, I created this myself. I probably get sued now by the family, but it's okay, it's okay. So, because for those who studied Greek, you know, and I know in Holland there are a lot of people who studied something that is not Greek, but for those who study Greek, a crisis comes from krise, which means change. Right? We are in a period of change. It doesn't mean shit, or period that everything is going to shit, right? It means period of change. So everything is changing. It could be good and bad. I'm going to give an example of things that can be good. And good not ethically, but good like interestingly, right? Because I'm not going to promote, I'm not one of those guys that come up and said, I'm going to show you how to make a better world. I don't believe in that, right? We never create a better world. We create a different world. And whether it's better or not is for our generations to come to decide. So for all those often white older men saying, I'm going to show you how to create a better world, just say, shut up, go in your Tesla and go home. I'm going to give you an example about sustainability because that is the area I'm working in. This is a project that we did, the Exploded Fubium building. Who has seen this one? Okay, 6 people and 2 that are not sure. Okay. So, this is a true story. We were sitting in our office, right, in Amsterdam, a bunch of artists, because we are a collective of artists, and we heard on the radio that the government in Holland wants to reduce CO2 by 50% by 2030 and build 1 million houses. Now it's 900,000, so it's not ambitious anymore, but it's 1 million at the same time. And then the presenter of the radio program was like, how are they going to do this? And we were like, yeah, how? This is interesting. Let's put the team on it, right? And then we also heard, and I don't know if you know this, that Holland is subsiding. It's going down, like literally, right? So they are building dikes, and dikes, I mean the real constructions, dikes, right? To make sure that the water doesn't come in, but at the same time they are going down because the ground is subsiding. So Holland is disappearing. Right? I'm a Belgian. I love this. Right? I can go in the Ardennes and stand and just see Holland disappear. It's amazing, you know? But, you know, we can also fight it, okay? And then, of course, nitrogen stick stuff, it's a whole thing now, yeah? But a few years ago, it was not hip to talk about it. We did. So we said, how can we fight against all these huge problems? They seem like so big, how can we fight it? And we said, one of the things is, if we build completely differently, if we build differently, because it is a whole chain that you open. It's like a can of possibilities. So, what if you build modular? That means that you click houses into each other and you put them in like a day or a week instead of building for months with all the exhaustion. What if you can make it modular? What if you can build with nature? Materials made from nature that can go back to nature. Materials that take carbon out of the air, right? Even when they are still there. And how can we do this with a team of all kinds of partners and open source, that we share everything we have? So we built it, and we showed it at the Dutch Design Week and at the Floriade, which was World Expo, not very worldly, but we were there, and we won ceremony? Is that like a no? Is there a money award? No, you just do one gold, that's it. So I told my mother I won gold at the Floriade. She was like, what is the Floriade? What is gold? And I'm like, I'm happy now. She's like really? And that was it. So, you can never do good by those tumors. Anyway, so we build a house. As you can see, we just clicked it. In 1 week we build it. It has 5 rooms. It's 180 square meters. It's like a typical Dutch house. But everything you see is made out of nature. Right? So I was like, let me give you a little tour for those who haven't seen it yet. So we make materials out of hemp, the male version. So the female version of hemp you smoke, the male version you make building materials with, right? And then the cattail, lisdodde, that grows into the wetlands, right? You can make beautiful, beautiful materials with it, like this. And the great thing is, they take on CO2, right? 9 tons of CO2 from 1 hectares of hemp, for example. So they take on CO2 and they keep it in the materials. This is a house built completely with hemp and chalk, that's it. And the reduction on your energy is 70%. Nice, eh? And just chalk and hemp chalk, that's how it's called. Okay. Then we have algae. I love algae because they are there since the beginning of mankind. Even man was not there, but the beginning of the world. They take on super much CO2. You can make beautiful colors with it. You can 3D print with it. Look at this. This is 3D printed algae. You can put this in the dishwasher. Man. Right? I always get the question by men, can we put it in the dishwasher? Of course you can. Right? It's 3D printed algae. And if you are a passionate person that likes to fight by throwing things, this is great. Because if you break it, you can clean it and put it in the garden and it disappears. So it's sustainable fighting. But you can also get energy from it. I don't know if you know this house, it's called the Big House in Germany. And the complete energy structure is done by algae. So this is not solar screens, this is algae screens. Screens with algae. And they deliver the electricity, they deliver the heat of the whole building. Right? It's 12 years ago, eh? Not just recently that they discovered, 12 years ago. So algae are amazing. They can help us with our energy problems and not with our relationship problems. So, then you get, what is this? Concrete tiles, very good. There are some smart people in here. Concrete tiles. So you have, what is it? Concrete tiles. Normally you get concrete, you get cement, you get stones, you get sand, water, right? This is stone plus bacteria. That's it. No cement. Stone plus bacteria. Why? Because bacteria are the coolest ever, right? They have one function and that's it. So they're like men, but then they don't talk. Amazing, right? So they can do one thing, and then, for example, we only know about 3% of bacteria. The rest we don't know. But if you can select, which they did, bacteria that hold stone together, then their function is holding the stone together, and that's it. But they don't like too much pressure from one point. So if you take this heavy machinery and you put it on the stones, right, like this, then they let go of it. So you can recycle 100% your whole concrete floor. Bacteria, it already exists. Right? The company is now in Bruges, in Belgium, in West Flanders, by the way, but it's an American company, so don't worry. And they sell all over the world bacteria that are going to solve our concrete cement problem. Right? Amazing. Then we have this wall out of mycelium. Who doesn't know what mycelium is? Everybody knows? Okay, 5, 6, 7 people, and if I wait long enough, 8. Okay, so mycelium, on the left you see straw, or hemp, or cattail, but just the bad part of it, just the waste, together. Then we put a little bit of mushroom, and in 1 week it grows to the right. In 1 week you can see it growing, and if you don't dry it, it goes to the left, because the mushroom eats everything. But if you dry it, the mushroom dies, and you can have a funeral, but anyways, it dies, right? And then you can use it as amazing building material. Why? It's super light, its insulation qualities are beyond imagination. It's very good sound-wise, acoustic insulation, but also insulation of the floors, and it looks amazing, right? And the cool thing is, you can make any mold with it. So we created a pavilion in 2019, a pavilion with mycelium. This is mushroom. Right? Whoa, I know, I feel it. Wow, good in letting go those emotions, very good. So, this is 88 panels of mycelium. It's cattail, lisdodde, grind it with some mushroom, and we created for the first time outside the world. This is the first time in the world that we use mycelium outside. Because normally they use it for in between walls, like insulation. We use it for the outside to make sure, to show how pretty it can be, right? This was the inside. Our floor by the way, was made out of jute, cattail, lisdode, and potato. Potato. That's a floor. So your floor is made out of potato, jute, and cattail. Nothing else. And we have this pavilion already for 3.5 years. It was for 2 years outside in Almere. If you can have a pavilion outside in Almere, then you know you have good material. So it's amazing. Now, you can also use it for packaging, of course. You can use it actually for clothing. On the left, you see clothes made out of mycelium. The dream of this company is that you can go, if you want to shop for a new jacket, for example, is that you go into you go into the street, the shopping street, you go to a machine, you press, give me a new coat, you go inside a booth, they spray your jacket, they dry it, and you have a jacket out of mycelium. If you don't want it anymore, you throw it in the garden trash, and GFT, or in the garden, whatever you want. So they're working on this right now. This was the first dress they made. In the middle, you're doing Hermes bag. You know Hermes, fancy ass bags. It's made out of mycelium, mushroom. And Adidas has made a sports shoe out of mycelium, mushroom leather. Mushroom leather is amazing, right? This is already possible. Already on big market scale level, not on like a very small, independent, super lonely designer level. Right? This is big level, this house. So what did we learn from this house? And we also made it small. By the way, if you like what you hear, in the expo, we show a small house. So we made the big house small, especially to bring it to Enschede. That was our whole dream. One day to be in Enschede. And we made it small. Oh, by the way, sometimes I use irony. It's because of my lonely childhood. But sometimes above the rivers, I have to explain what irony is. Because I know that some Dutch people don't like irony because they like to have it right or wrong. So everything I say, you have to think about if it's ironic or not. No, just for the Dutch one, right? Okay. So we showed this in the expo. So you can see it, you can feel the materials, you can feel mycelium, just don't lick the materials. Okay. So you can touch everything. What did we learn? Why do I show this project? We wanted to talk about bio-based circular modular building. It's already a lot, right? The future of building. But this gave us so much insight in other fields that are, attached to this. Because we go into new systems. Let me show you. The future of neighborhoods. Now neighborhoods are disturbance to nature, right? So we see nature and then we have buildings and they don't go together. We go like, sorry for the buildings, right? But we really like nature. But nature and buildings can go together. We can create, for example, this. We created this for the World Expo 2025. We became third. 125 architectural firms applied and we became third. And our idea was, this is for 1,500 square meters, so this is huge. Only nature. So this is not a green roof on a building. The building is green. The building is nature. Right? Let me show you. So you see, of course, all the nature. Let me show you. You get these plant trays. So like actually where you grow a plant in, but it becomes actually also your constructive element. So instead of having a wall and then insulation and another wall, we say we can have this all in one, and the earth becomes the insulation. The earth for your plants or for your trees. But the surrounding, right, the material to make these new stones are also plants. So you have hemp material growing hemp, or you can have mycelium growing mycelium, or you can have whatever you want growing trees. So you can create, whether it's for landscape or infrastructure or building, you can create with nature constructions. Right? And then you can have this as your living room. That means that above you is mycelium, is the roots of the plants that you're growing, and around you you're growing as well. So nature and building can become way more one. And now for the cynical people here, and there are always a few. Right? Where are they? Just by hands and I know where's the cynical people. There are always a few. Right? I understand. Lonely childhood, I understand. But this is certified. So this is not futuristic. This is with all certified materials. This is a complete real building with all the building subscriptions. So we make sure that it's by regulations, and I know the Dutch love their regulations. It's by regulations, fire hazard, water installation, everything. Right? You can create this already now if we want. Who would like to live in a nature house? One. Okay, and some more. Okay, cool. So the other thing that we discovered, because doing this, is the future of farming. I don't know for the foreign people if you heard, but there's a thing going on in Holland with the farmers. We don't know yet if it's a movement or hype or reality. Right? In Belgium, we try to ignore the fact that there's a problem with the farmers, but it's everywhere, of course. What is the future of farms? I'm not against farmers, I'm against the system. Pro-farmer, against the system. So, we're going to have new business models. The farmers are going to grow. By the way, I don't see a clock here, just that you know. I just see have fun, Lucas. Okay.
So have fun.
So, I just know, so the farmer, and I'm having fun, you don't want to know, right? So, the farmers have new business models, right? So that means that the farmers are going to grow the materials for the building industry, and also the food. Always, when I say something like, people come like, yeah, but the farmers have to make food. Now they cannot make food anymore. Of course they can, right? 70% of all food is being exported. So we can actually drop down to 30. We're not going to do it, but there's plenty of room for food, and also room, actually you can mix it, right? Room for creating materials. But the good thing is, those materials take on CO2. So what they're doing now is they are calculating, right? How much CO2 does the crops actually take from the air? And can we pay the farmer for the CO2 as well? Because if you go from corn to hemp, you lose money. Let's be honest. Because corn is rich, and hemp now is not rich yet. So for a farmer, you don't want a farmer to go bankrupt. Not again and again and again, right? So what they're doing now, this is from the Ministry of Agriculture. They are now calculating, for example, hemp takes 9 tons per hectare. Right? Can you then pay the farmer for those 9 tons? And then you see he makes enough money to survive. So we are now going to pay the farmer for the crops plus the CO2 out of the air. Who do we pay now? Shell. We pay Shell 100 euros per ton CO2 to put in the ocean. And the real price is 75, by the way, on the market. So we pay Shell a lot of money over the budget to put the CO2 in the ocean. It's like telling your child a story about a thief, and in the end of the story, the thief gets to keep all the things he stole. Right? This is the story of Shell, by the way. So why don't we give that amount of money that we have to those who are really taking CO2 out of the air? For example, the farmers or the builders. The second thing you have to do when we talk about farmers is see where do you grow what, right? You cannot change all the corn by hemp and say we are done, because then you have one monoculture changing it by the next monoculture. You have to see, and by the way, for the people that don't speak English, these are all the different soils that you have in Holland. So you have to see what soil do you have, and what can we do there, right? And you have to sit together. So that's why our project, so we have the project with building with nature. This is the new project we start. And the other one is possible landscapes. What kind of landscape can you create with everybody together? So we have made a table where we put farmers, construction people, but also nature experts, water experts, soil experts, bankers, still need them, right? And even people from the government together to discuss what can we create in this area, right? We did this for the peel. For those who don't know what the peel is used to be a peat, used to be very wet, a lot of oxygen. Now it's super dry, a lot of carbon, right? So it's a huge problem, the peel, so they have to re-wet the land. That means that they have to get away of the farmers, put water in it again, and that's it. They have no idea what to do with it. Just make sure that there's water. So we had a whole team, 36 different farmers and thinkers. What can we do when we put water on our lands? And there's a whole possibility, I'm not going into it now, but it's a whole business model, so financial and ethical model of how can you make sure that we still can use those grounds. It means combining living with forestry, with nature reservation, and with farming all together. I believe that with working together, we can create completely new concepts that make sure that we can all survive, including nature. So, neighborhood farming, then, let's be honest, it's way healthier. Building with bio-based materials, way healthier. Right? Industry is going to change completely, of course, otherwise you can't do it. And one of the most interesting is this one, is value. Money. I was talking with people from the bank yesterday, right, that came to one of the lectures that we are giving, and they said, but an hypotheek, how are we going to do that in hypotheek? Right, said that you get a loan for your house. If we can move our houses, right, if we can change everything constantly, how are we going to do this, Lucas? And I said, we have to change what is valuable. Because if you build a bio-based house, all your materials keep value. Your installation, mycelium, you can reuse again 100%. Now, if you want to change your house, renovate it, you have to bring everything, to the container park. You have to pay to get your materials removed. Here, they pay you to take your materials. So value different. If now it's hoping that your ground gives you more and more money, right? You just stay on the same ground and it has to give you more money. But if your house or grow and become smaller and bigger, you have to rethink how to do this. Rethink what is of value. So with the banks, with 3 banks here in Holland, we are starting a team, a lab, to rediscover, rethink how will we do hypotheken and loans in the future. Because now none of the young people can get one, which is ridiculous, right? Everybody should have a right to live, at least to live. So we are rethinking this as well. So what you get is completely new networks. You have farmers and builders sitting together with nature experts. Not everybody gets out of their bubble, has to work together. Not because we are innovative, all of us, our generation is so cool, no, right? Because we cannot do it anymore the way we did it, right? It stops, so we have to change. Right? It's not because we thought our parents were losers, I mean, they are, but still, you know, it's because we cannot do what they did anymore. We cannot consume the way, so we need new networks and systems. And this is a very important slide. If you just remember one slide, it's this one. What they call now sustainability means to sustain. Right? People want to do the same they did, and if they can't, they say, okay, give me one thing I have to change so I can continue. So, you cannot drive a big fancy-ass sports car. Here is an electric version, exactly the same, just no CO2. For the rest, no child labor, no problem, and using and taking from Africa, no problem. For the rest, you can still go, thank you, and we are done. Everybody goes electric, we are done. We did not solve any problem at all, right? So this sustain, this continue, new ecosystem is really think, what should we do to really survive? I believe in the latter. But that means that people have to rethink. That means that people have to be vulnerable. Say, I don't know this. They have to work with other people. Instead of saying, I've been 30 years in this business and I know how it works. They have to say, I don't know how it works. Right? Maybe somebody from a completely different business can actually work with me and tell this. Vulnerability becomes the most important power of the next 20 years. If you're daring to say that you don't know. Right? This is elaborate and chosen, this t-shirt. Because the real crime, I'm almost done. I know concentration in Holland can be tough, almost done. In Belgium this takes 2 hours, but since your education system, 30 minutes. Yeah, I know. That's right. Crisis. Right? I started with crisis. What is the real crisis we have? Is a value crisis. This is the real crisis. Because there's enough money in Holland to change the whole system overnight. There's enough innovation. I showed you innovations, and I can go on for 10 hours of innovation. There's enough mind power in this room alone to change the whole of Holland. But value is the real crisis. Because that means that we have different values that are going to be important. Working together instead of being alone, right? Not going for money and status, but going for coalitions. Working together. Vulnerability is going to be super important. Not this old power, I'm good, I did it on my own, which by the way nobody did, but okay, they think they do. To, let's work together, I don't know, let's search, let's find out, let's try and fail and try again. If we are ready for these values, amazing time. If we keep on hanging on individuality and just being super cool and driving a big fancy car, we are done. We're going sinking and gone with Holland. Yay, say the Belgians. So what we need, 5 minutes left. Thank you guys. I'm just going to take 2, because you know, it's hot. Okay. So what I stand for is a practical, ethical dialogue. Let's say, dialogue means that you can disagree. Otherwise it's a monologue. Right? So 50 people agreeing with each other is called a monologue. 50 people searching is called a dialogue. 50 people fighting is called a fight. Okay? So dialogue means you can disagree. I loved yesterday, I had 40 farmers and builders together in the north of Belgium thinking, how can we change our area? 40. That was the best morning I ever had. Because they are willing to change, but they really are searching. Dialogue. Ethical means ethical. You know? What are our values? What do we really believe in? It's something we are lacking in, for example, let's say politics. Right? What do we believe in? And practical means you have to do shit, right? Otherwise it's just talking. So what are you going to do? Are we going to build differently? Let's build differently. Because we can, right? Already now. And by the way, I'm going to answer a question that you're probably going to have. Is it already affordable, bio-based building? Yes. It's the same price. At this moment, right? The same price. But then you have to want it, right? Of course, if you want to go fancy, you can go fancy. But like social building, because Holland is very good in social building, sociale woningen. Now in the east of Brabant, they are building social buildings for completely bio-based. They are doing it, right? And they only do it if it's affordable. We don't The moment we agree on that, we can have a discussion. We can talk, we can work, we can create new things. What I do know, it's going to be an awesome, very interesting, very disturbing next 20, 30 years, and most of you will be part of it. Thank you so much.